As someone in the mid 20s, it's been a, it's come to my attention that there's a lot of disruptive, not just disruptive, but distracting behavior that has to be uprooted. And if you're somebody that actually wants to do something in life, you want to have some sort of change for the better on or impact in other people's lives and all of that, you have this weird desire to get better as you because you have to take care of you before your cup can runneth over into other people's lives, right? So as I was thinking about all of this, I came to realize that I had to run an internal audit. I had to take stock, take inventory of myself and where I am now. I'm almost a quarter century years old. That's 25 years. I'm 24 right now, but I'm almost a quarter century years old. And looking back on my varsity years, which it's bittersweet because I learned a lot. And I came to a lot of realizations, but there was a huge cost for me to be able to think over these things. But it was better for me to be alone, in all honesty, than to be outside because it wasn't practical to be outside. Anyway, I will get into my varsity years in another video, but these are the things that I found really hold people back and they held me back for quite some time, and you might benefit from knowing these things, especially if you are in your early 20s. You're just getting your 20s started off. Maybe you're 20, 21, 22. I wish I was 22. As of late I've been wishing I could go back to the age of 22. So if you're there, please listen. Let's get into the video. Number one of the things that hold people back. The very first one is hookup culture. And this is kind of fragmented. It has its own subsections, but for hookup culture, let's take it as sleeping with random people. Even if the people aren't random, it's still hookup culture in general at large is detrimental for your productivity. Why? Because as someone who is so young, you get consumed very easily by things. It's very easy for you to get consumed by activities, by cultures, especially if you don't have any defending morals, principles, or virtues about yourself. You didn't have a role model to kind of show you what is important in life, and how you should be acting and conducting yourself in life for you to get out not unscathed, but you fought and you're on good standing until you find yourself. Because a lot of people get to the ages of maybe 27 and up, and they regret a bunch of things that they were doing in their early 20s, late teens, and all of that. So number one is hookup culture. It does nothing for you. It does nothing but waste your time, and it does nothing but waste your money. And above all, it takes away your attention from the things that you should be focusing on, which is your health, your mental health, physical health, mental health, spiritual standing, and your psychological health and emotional needs, as well as socially, right? Because you're going to hang out with a certain bunch of people if you're looking to get immersed in hookup culture, which I would not suggest, obviously, but it does happen regardless. So hookup culture is number one. You don't want to engage in that. If you are deep into hookup culture, leave it. Leave it. It does nothing for you. You're not going to benefit from it anyhow. You're just have going to have wasted your time, and you'll be subpar in all other aspects of life at the very least, you know. So so leave hookup culture alone. With me with regards to hookup culture, I was also immersed in it. I'm not saying this because, oh no, I've because just because he's never no, I've been there, and I know that there's nothing there. There's nothing there. You're not missing out on anything. If you have not engaged in hookup culture, you're not missing out on anything. It puts a multiplier on your progress. Whatever you put your head to, if you're not immersed in hookup culture and you've cleaned out the rest of the habits that I'm going to go down, and you've cleaned them out as well, you've done that inner work, you're now hygienic, and you'll be moving so fast that it's almost overwhelming. But I'm not gonna lie, it's exciting when it happens. So you have to get out of that. For one, you have to get out of that. Number two is escapism. Escapism is like running away from your problems, running away from your life, trying to forget your problems and all of these kinds of things that are detrimental to your development. You become stagnant. Even if you do have some progress in life, you will eventually ruin your own blessings because you did not do the prior work it took for you to manage what you have now, what you've been blessed with now. So you have to do that inner work and stop escaping your life. But let's go into what I'm talking about in terms of escapism, which is it is drinking, smoking, partying, um, and participating in general degeneracy, that especially like university culture, where you are going to the club each and every single week. You don't have money, but you're going to the club. You don't know how you're getting in, but you're going there, and you'll get in somehow, some way, right? So it's just like the party lifestyle: alcohol, booze, cigarettes, weed, drugs, all of that. You definitely want to stay away from drugs and alcohol, because that is a very slippery slope. You might never actually climb out of it are if you ever get into that. That plus hookup culture, that is a very deadly combination, because they can really play on your hormones and get you addicted, and you might never actually muster up the will or the courage to break free. Especially, which brings me to number three, if you are around friends who participate in these kinds of things. I'm not saying you should cut your friends tomorrow morning, but I'm saying that your environment matters. I know, because recently I've been looking at ways to make money from the digital economy. I have this theory that this is a side note, by the way, this is a tangent, that should I was taking stock, not taking stock, but just looking at where we are as Lesotho in my country. It's a If you don't know where it is or what it is, it's a third world country in the southern in South in Africa, Southern Africa, South Africa, inside South Africa. If you don't know where it is, it's a country in Southern Africa. It's the only country that is landlocked by South Africa. So, yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, the creative industry here is not very valuable. In fact, when I did my research, I found that, I mean, the articles were only saying that it has potential. They weren't saying that it was worth this much or that much. When you do the same search for South Africa, it gives you a number. But for my country, it wasn't giving me a number, which means that there is so much to be done. And I don't want to have to wait that long, because for the next 10 years, I'm pretty sure the funds that are being allocated in my country are going to go to exports, imports, and other brick and mortar things that and handcrafted materials, which means effectively that video and content are still far from being seen as valuable, or at least at the value that they should be perceived at. Obviously, companies do run marketing in my country, so there is some, they understand the value of it, but generally there is no industry, if we were to be honest, if we were to be frank. So the only way to actually make money is to either leave the country or tap into another economy somehow virtually. And hence I was thinking about it. So I know, but going back to my point of your environment matters, I know that that is true for me because I had been just stuck in doom scrolling for the longest time until I ran into a live stream from one of the guys that I subscribe to. He talks about e-commerce and all of this and all of that. I was in the comments, not in the comments. I was in the live chat as myself, and we were just chopping it up with his other subscribers and just talking about online stuff. You know what I mean? We were just talking about chopping it up with the terminology and all of that. So I noticed that I really felt something within me seemed to come alive. And immediately I wanted to join a cohort or a group or have some sort of group chat or join a community where guys are figuring out this thing of making money online, be it via selling things online or making content or digital products, whatever it may be, or marketing, whatever it may be. I just wanted to get close to people like that. I just wanted to get close to within communities of a bunch of people who are in that pursuit, because I realized that part of the reason I had been getting cold feet is because I don't have a cohort. I don't have guys I can go back to and be like, yo, I did the thing, and this week this happened, what, this week this happened, yeah. This week I'm down this much, but I'm crafting a plan. I have a plan in place that I'm going to be putting in, that I'm going to be running for next week, and then we'll see what happens. And then next week something happens and all this, that we can bounce ideas off of and all of that. That kind of thing, I didn't have that. And as soon as I joined that, I was like, okay, let's jump. That's why I started this channel. That's why I started making videos, because I was like, nah, this 2024 is a leap year, innit? And a lot of people that I know, like I said in the vlog, are jumping off of some proverbial cliff. And so I figured I should do the same, because kids are out here making money off of whatever it is. And I'm not saying that I want to make money off of my YouTube videos and whatnot, but it wouldn't be it's not a bad prospect. And yeah, it's not even if I did want to make money off of YouTube videos, it's not a bad thing to do. It's not a bad thing to want. What just happened right now, it should be evidence that your environment impacts you a lot, because what really just happened is I try to say, oh no, I'm not trying to make money off of YouTube and whatnot, kind of like I'm scared or I'm tucking my tail, you know what I mean? But it's not a bad thing to want to be able to monetize off of my videos. It's not a bad thing to want to be able to provide for not just myself, but my family as well. It's not a bad thing to want to make money off of YouTube, because people are doing it and people are finding ways to do it each and every single day. So why not me, right? Yeah. So your environment really counts. This is why I stay and this is why I keep to myself, because that little doubt or that little, that little glitch that happened right there, it's the product of a an economy, or rather a society, or a general public that does not value the that does not value creativity. And should you want to charge them for your creativity, they're like, how? But it's just a photo, it's just a video, it's just this, it's just a that. Are you mad? Are you mad? You must be mad. You cannot unironically say that. You can't say that and you're not joking. You must be mad. You must be. It can't be. It can't be, right? Yeah, it can't be. I've invested so much into this. I pour my heart and soul into this, okay? If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. And it's only now that things are just starting to, you know, they're just starting to churn, and I'm getting the hang of it. But yeah, stay tuned, right? So that was a really long tangent. I went on the tangent and I came back, but yeah, that is the point on environment. And then lastly, this is a very divisive one, and I put it last so that I can traumatize you properly before you leave my video. The last point is music. Stop listening to rubbish. I can feel the dislikes already. But no, man. Stop listening to the kind of music that perpetuates the culture that you don't want to be a part of. Stop listening to, I'm not even going to say the names, like hip hop, pop, hip hop, R&B, rap music, hip hop slash rap. I meant to say that. And just songs in general that make you want to call up your side thing, your piece, your side thing, your main thing, your side whatever. Stop listening to songs that make you want to do that. Stop listening to songs that make you want to drink alcohol. Stop listening to songs that make you want to smoke whatever it is. Stop listening to those kinds of songs, because those things influence you. Even if you don't do those things, or you think you've healed and whatnot, those things, they take up mental space. They take up mental space, even if you're just listening to it for background music, for background noise. They take up space. As long as you are hearing it, it's not you who is processing it. It's your subconscious mind, the one that goes unnoticed. Right now, you can't tell me how much you are breathing. You're not actively thinking about breathing. You're not actively thinking about you pumping your heart. You don't even know how to do that. But that's the brain that listens. That's the brain where those little ideas, those little words, that's where they stick. They're not sticking in your filter, your conscious mind, because your conscious mind has an active filter. So if someone tells you something that is nonsensical, you can be like, nah, dude, yeah, are you mad? That's crazy. That's wrong. That's crazy. That is whatever it is. You have the filter on. That's why, yeah. So music bypasses your filter, and it goes deep into your subconscious mind. And then that's why if you listen to music that is counter to your productivity, or counter to if you're trying to practice abstinence away from hooking up and all that, if you're listening to like Drake or Future or the Migos or whatever, whoever talks about hoes and all of this club culture, you know what I mean? If you listen to those kinds of artists and you're telling me that you want to stay away from that habit, you're going to have a very hard time doing that because it's always going to be in the back of your mind. And eventually, give it enough time and water will break a rock in two. So eventually, that music will come to fruition, will materialize, it will manifest in your actions and your behavior. One day, you will not know what's going on, but you will get on your phone, and all of a sudden, you're gonna wanna call up all the things that you had ghosted or you just whatever. You're gonna wanna get back into that just a little bit to dip your toe. But as soon as you dip your toe, that's when it's got you, man. That's when it's got you. You're done. And then you're gonna have to go through maybe a week or two or even a month just trying to get back to where you were at. And if you do it with the music again, rest assured you will keep doing that. It'll just be like a roller coaster of you constantly trying to claw your way back and past where you were at last time, and the stuff pulling you back. All your inputs matter. Your sensory input matters. And so this is a bonus one. If you made it this far, this is a bonus one. You don't want to you want to let go of, and this is, please listen to me because this can fly under the radar. It's even more subtle than music. You want to let go of all anger, grief, unforgiveness, and tension that you have within yourself, be it even if you were wronged or you are right. You're in the right, you were a victim, or what, you have to let that go. I'm not saying that they were right to do that. I'm saying that you gotta let it go for you because it's going to hold you back. It's like trying to swim with chains around your feet that are attached to a rock that is half your body weight. You're gonna sink. You cannot make that swim. It's impossible. You can't. You have to let go of that emotional, and this is what I'm talking about. I used to have this I had this paranoia of being cheated on. Was I? I don't know. But there would be rumors flying about and whatnot, and I would be averse to having a relationship for the past. It's been quite a while since I got over the paranoia, but I would be averse to having relationships. And with the rise of people on YouTube talking about female nature and all of this and all of that and this and that and this and that, I basically was not up to speed. I had not been caught up on social dynamics, um, conduct, how to conduct yourself as a man, women, especially with regards to women. Although I was what do people say? A late bloomer, and I was naive. So when reality hit me, it hit me like a bus. It took me from naivety to paranoia, where I was just from one extreme to the other, where I was just like, I would imagine. And well, at that time, some of my there's I recall a certain relationship that went sour, and it was probably it probably was my fault. Yes, I can imagine why. I know why it would have been my fault. But at the time, I was like, no, why are you doing this? Da, da, da. I was broken up with, basically. And so what happened was, after that, I would be entranced in this emotional state of daydreaming about what would happen if I came home and my wife was cheating on me, or my wife was cheating on me, or in some way, and then I find out, or I get hip to it, and then she doesn't know that I know, and what, I would run all these weird scenarios in my mind all day long. Not all day long, but like more than I should. Maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes at a time before I snap out of it. And I would just rile myself up emotionally, and I'd be so angry and all of this. And this was all before I understood what was going on, what went wrong, and all of this. And it was my fault partially. Of course, we were kids. You know what I mean? I was what we were what 17, 18. I mean, if you know my life, you're putting pieces together. But that's what was that's what was happening as soon as when I turned like 20, 21, and I started like really looking into, okay, what's going on in my life. I'm not getting the outcomes that I'd like. And so I started doing a lot of research and coming across all of this game and all this stuff. Like, no, you're not supposed to do that and do this, connect yourself like that, and this and that and this and that. And that's how you play the game. And as guys, I really hope if you're into that, you come out of it and you realize that it is just what it is. It's game. It's a game. So you gotta start playing the games, man. You gotta start playing the games and be a real man. Be a real man. Grow up, and you know what I mean. Take up your cross and all that. But that's a topic for another video. But my point is emotionality. That emotion, that grief, and all of that. You can get really stuck in doing all that for a long time, and because you were done wrong, it's not going to occur to you that this is holding you back in some regard. It's not going to occur to you that it is sabotaging your way of thinking about the way your social relationships. You're not going to realize that it's also poisoning your mind to fall to that, to always go back to that negativity. And one thing about negativity you should know is that it will always bring itself up to the surface in your behavior. It always manifests in your behavior, and you will act dysfunctional to some extent that you cannot perceive for yourself. Why? Because that thing is not a red flag to you. It should be a red flag to you. Stop going back to the past. Let it go. All of it. All of it. Let it go. Even if you're saying that you're using it for educational purposes, sharp. Let it be just that. Leave the emotions out of it. Deal with it. Think through it. Deal with it. And ask yourself a couple of questions that I would ask myself. Like, yeah, that happened. Now what? What is stewing over this going to help me with? It's not going to help me with anything. And why would you let that change your outlook, your positive outlooks? Why would you let that stay? Because wherever it is staying, it's taking up space for something that you could have been putting in its place that is positive, that serves you well. You should just let it go. I should just let go of the past, deal with it, not just like shove it down, deal with it and be like, yeah, okay, fine, this happened, and you know what I mean? We were kids, etc., etc., etc. And even if the person does not apologize or whatnot, it's for you. It's for you to be. How long will you live with it? How long are you willing to carry that? Isn't it heavy? It is. I can tell you because I had baggage as well. Not just from relationships, but from a lot of things in my life, in my personal life. You have to let go of those emotions and beware of that trap. If you actually hadn't been aware of it until now, then you should start thinking about it. And be very careful not to think yourself into it, because it's very tempting. It's very tempting because it is a deep scar. So it's very tempting to get into that mindset and into that emotional state again. It's very easy to think yourself into it. So be careful. These are all the things that you should not be keeping. Take out the trash. Just to go over those, you want to stop and get rid of hookup culture, escapism, your environment, music, and the emotionality or the emotional traps, right? You have to stay away from those. You got to clean those up, clean them out, and be hygienic mentally and all of that. You know what I mean? So you have to clean up your act. And if you liked this video, found some insight and whatnot, leave a comment down below. Leave your thoughts down below. If you have anything to add, leave it down below as well. I went down this list because they are not things that people really think about like that. So they think I'm being extreme when I cut things out and all of that. So am I? Maybe I am. Yes, I am. Okay. And I'm being extreme because these are things that actually are important, and I feel resolved. I don't have anything to hide. So if you liked the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you're not doing crack. One would hope that you're not doing crack, right? Because that's crazy. This video may also apply, but yeah, it's not a thing that I'm like, oh. What was that? Rah, 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 rah.